Hi everyone. How's everyone doing on a Sunday evening? Good to see everyone today. Well, yeah, today what we're going to be talking about is cryptocurrencies. It's an exciting topic, and we've got a special guest today who will be joining us, and we'll be deep diving into what cryptocurrency is and how do you go about trading and so forth. So first, before we start, I want to welcome Solomon. Solomon, how you doing?
I'm doing great, KP. How are you doing? Are you well?
Not too bad, not too bad. Just looking forward to this podcast today. Looking forward to speaking to a special guest who's come to join us today to speak about this wonderful topic.
Yeah, man, I'm super excited. I can't wait. I've got my pen and paper ready, and I know for the viewers that will be listening that they're going to be taking home a lot of knowledge. And yeah, just concentrate. And if you've got a pen and a piece of paper, take some notes, because I think information is going to serve you. If you are interested in cryptocurrencies or cryptography, and I know that you guys are going to have a great time.
Great. So today we've got a wonderful guest. His name is Nitin Patel. He's an entrepreneur and an investor in cryptocurrency. He's going to be showing us, first we're going to deep dive and talk about what his background is, what he does, and then we'll go through. But today I just want to say we're not going to really talk about the technology behind Bitcoin or cryptocurrencies in general. That will be in a different episode where we will deep dive into that area. But today it's really focusing on trading. How do you as an individual what is crypto and where do you start off with? So welcome, Nitin Patel. How are you doing on a great Sunday?
Yeah, I'm doing great. Yeah, I'm doing okay. It's my first time in the internet world, so I'm super excited about it as well. And actually, to be honest, Katan's my cousin, so he introduced me to Google Hangouts, and I was telling him about cryptocurrency before, and he just decided, you know what, it'd be a great topic to talk about. So I said, yes, let's try it and see how it goes.
Yeah. So me and my we went out for dinner a few weeks ago. Yeah, Nit.
Yeah.
And I told him, I've started a podcast and stuff, and really want to get people on who who in different areas of what they do in their life and so forth, or investments and so forth. And I thought it was really great to get you on, Nitin, to really tell us about the wonderful sides of cryptocurrency. So really, I just really wanted to start off, Nit. So, so tell us a bit about yourself. What do you do? What's your background? But who are you?
So basically, I'm a IT contractor. So I work in one of the biggest companies in the technology industry. So that's my career. So I do desktop support. To give you a brief description of how I got into Bitcoin, I first heard it like everyone else, like on the media, where you hear about people becoming millionaires within a few years invested in Bitcoin. So then I decided to do it by myself through our help with a colleague at work. So are you happy with that answer?
Yeah, no, that's great in terms of how you sorted out, and it's really asking about. So what made you wanted to go into cryptocurrency? Really tell us, what do you know about cryptocurrency? Did you do some research before you jumped in, or did you just see the dollars that everyone else was making? Because you're an entrepreneur who who really wants to make loads of monies and buy that Ferrari, right? What you were telling me, you wanted to buy the first thing when you make $1 million is buying a Ferrari, right, or something?
Yeah, go on holiday. That's the first thing I was thinking about. To be honest, it was a colleague that I was doing at work, and if you're in IT, you're always curious about what other people are doing around you. So then he started showing me exactly what he was doing. And because there was this media hype about cryptocurrency, he actually taught me how to do it. And the thing about cryptocurrency is, like a lot of businesses, you got to find out someone else is doing it before you actually put your foot in. So then he started showing me websites, how to do it, how to trade, buy and sell.
Right.
So it isn't a thing like you literally ain't going to become a millionaire overnight. And that's like with any business. You have to start small and gradually grow bigger and bigger as you get more knowledgeable.
Right.
Right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So without a mentor, I wouldn't have been able to do it, because there's loads of mistakes you can make so easily, and you can gain money and you can lose money within seconds. So you have to actually start small and find out exactly how to do it before you even put in silly amounts of money, like even 300, 400, 5,000 pounds.
Sure. Well, before you jump in, Nitz, do you want to really tell me what you think cryptocurrency is, and just tell our viewers, you know, and from Dan, you've been an investor and been dealing with it. What is cryptocurrency? So
cryptocurrency is cryptocurrency for the internet world. So there isn't no solid value to it. It's not like you're trading metals or silver. There's not actually no solid value. It's basically a digital currency.
Yeah.
That is, well, if you look at the word cryptocurrency, it's a value that in the digital world that's been encrypted. So say, for example's sake, I set up well, this is hard for me to explain because it is quite technical.
Okay. Yeah. So I completely understand, and I'm sure I know you're going to give us a demonstration later on, but I really just wanted to ask on your side what you really thought cryptocurrency, because on what I think, because I haven't been investing in crypto, but cryptocurrency, like you say, is a digital currency. Where you are able to buy products, which of course is one example is Bitcoin. You're actually able to buy and sell products, physical products really, and you are able to use that when you're going out for when you're going out for say to restaurants, or if you're going out, so you can really use it in different types of payment streams. So, but really, I wanted to really talk about with cryptocurrency where it's going, and from my side, I can see it being a global currency. But really today, like I just wanted to see, like with yourself, like because you've now been using cryptocurrencies, is like so you said you had this mentor, right? And so once this mentor showed you how to make a particular how to make money with it, what did you go and do after? Did you do research? Did you go and play around with it yourself a little bit, start with a bit of money? What exactly, tell us what you did.
So basically there's a few websites, so you have to start off from the floor down. So there's a website called coinmarketcap.com. So it's better to show you first before I actually try to explain it. So is it okay if I can share my screen?
Yes, go ahead. We would love to see your screen.
So 1 second. Can you see my screen now?
No.
There you go, found it. Can you see my screen now?
Yes, we can, yes.
Okay. I'm just going to type a website called coinmarket.com.
Sure.
There you go. So cryptocurrencies have grown in so many ways during the last 3-4 years.
Right. So
if you look at the first one's obvious, Bitcoin.
Yeah.
So this is where it all started from. So Bitcoin is the coin. You can call it a master coin, and then anything underneath is altcoins.
Right.
So Bitcoin actually controls every other coin right to the bottom.
So what is this website that you've gone on? Is it, say, a site that you can have a look at what are the data analytics? So what are the market analytics of all
Yes.
the platforms? So this is one particular type of site you can go on and look at what all the various Bitcoins are out there, various cryptocurrencies that are available in the market at the moment.
Exactly. So there are so many right now. So they actually say there's probably 1,500, something like 1,500 to 1,700 coins right now.
Wow, that is a vast amount of various different types of cryptocurrencies, and it's kind of like, where do you really start with these Bitcoins, right? Which ones do you pick, and which ones do you follow? Like it must be. How did you find out what to invest in, and which ones are good and which ones are bad, and like, talk us through it.
Okay, as there's so many coins, it's literally like a jungle out there, right? So you have to do your research. So if I can show you, these are the top 10 coins, right? Now these are the coins that mostly everyone knows about. Underneath all these, underneath the top 10 coins, then you have to do a lot of research, because there is so much. Not, I wouldn't say. One second.
So before you go on, so really, you're saying we've got all these various, you've got all these various cryptocurrencies out there, and you're showing us a list of, which ones are say the top 10, right? So do you really know say the difference between, say, a Bitcoin to Ripple to Ethereum and that side, really? Hi, Nit.
One second. Okay, say your question again.
I just really wanted to ask you, because you've shown us all these various these various cryptocurrencies, right?
Yeah.
You know the difference between each one, like, say, your difference between the Ripple to Ethereum to Bitcoin, really?
So, as I say, Bitcoin is where it started out. So that's like the master coin. So how a Bitcoin works is like it goes through so many different transactions before the Bitcoin actually becomes verified.
Okay.
So say, for example, say you were buying a Bitcoin, all right?
Yeah.
So say, for example, say you were buying a Bitcoin.
Yeah.
So that Bitcoin gets verified by 22, 23 minimum transactions that gets verified by different computers before it becomes verified, right? So all these every time you do a transaction, that transaction is always encrypted, hence why it's called cryptocurrency.
Right.
Right? So that's why they say it's so secure.
Okay.
So you get like different types of Bitcoin. So you get a Bitcoin, which you get different types of coins. Some coins are decentralized, which means that it's peer-to-peer, so no one has got control over it. And then something like Ripple, which is centralized, which means that there is a centralized point where that coin, someone's controlling that coin. So these are the differences.
Right. Okay.
Yeah. So these are the. So if you look at coins, you get coins that are decentralized and you get coins that are centralized.
Right. Okay. So really, for the viewers, I wanted to just you did say about decentralized and centralized coins.
Mm.
In my understanding, when you mean centralized, is that you have a, say, like the company or the cryptocurrency is actually being, so the transactions that go through the system are verified and authorized by that party, right? And then for decentralized is when you have within that particular market, you've got people who individually are authorizing and authenticating that particular transaction. Am I correct in saying that?
Yes. So doing a transaction is called mining, where you have so many other computers. So in China, most of these, they do the mining mostly in China because of the low electricity costs.
Right.
So every time a transaction goes through, it gets verified through a computer node, like you can say like, I don't know, like a normal PC. And then once it goes past a certain number of transactions, that's when you know that you actually brought something. You actually brought a coin.
Right. Okay.
You understand that?
Yeah. Okay. So you talked about decentralized and centralized cryptocurrencies, and also from your understanding, what would be, say, if a person is just starting out, should they go for a centralized or a decentralized cryptocurrency? What's your take on that?
To be honest, it's up to them. Cryptocurrency hasn't even really started yet. It's like the Wild West, right? There's so much positive news about it and there's so much negative news about it. That's why people are always on the fence when you say, oh, I'm going to do crypto, I'm going to invest in cryptocurrencies, because there's a lot of negative press about it.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of positive press about it. So a lot of people are just sitting on the fence.
Right.
So it's not an easy question to answer. And because I don't really have that much authority to talk to you about cryptocurrency, because I've only started since August. So I can tell you about cryptocurrency at a basic level, but not at an advanced level.
Oh, right. Okay. So so with that, it's kind of my next question is really going to be about, so you said you had a mentor who showed you what to do. Did he originally deep dive and show you exactly what he did, or did he really just give you a demonstration of what you can do with cryptocurrency?
So
Did he take you through like a flow on how to go about going buying these coins, or is it a case of you just went out there and did your own research after?
So you have to, like, what a lot of people do is like they go on YouTube and look at other people's videos and see how they started out and see what they're doing right now. So there are a lot of advanced people broadcasting what they're exactly doing regarding buying and selling cryptocurrencies.
Right.
So you have to have, there's a few websites where you have to turn your fiat currency, which is your pounds or dollars, and you have to turn that into Bitcoin Litecoin, or Ethereum. So there's a website called I think it's coinbase.com.
Yeah. So okay.
So give me a few seconds. There you go, coinbase.com. Yeah.
We can't see your screen.
1 second.
But that's fine if you're having technical, so just tell us what coinbase.com is really, is it?
1 second, yeah. So can you see this website called coinbase.com?
Yes.
Okay, so this website is where you can use your credit card or debit card to purchase the fiat currency, like pounds, for example, say, because we live in the UK, right?
Right.
So you sign into this website, and you have to get verified before you actually put money in, because there's so much scrutiny about cryptocurrency right now. You just can't randomly just go into a website like Coinbase.com and just start purchasing. You have to like give your passport details, your ID, right? And then log into Coinbase, and they'll verify you. And it doesn't take that long anymore. Before, when Coinbase was around, it used to take a few weeks to get you verified.
Oh, right. Okay.
Right. So now you can get verified within 3 to 5 working days. So
But let's,
yeah.
can I just interrupt? But that's a long time for the currency to go through the various different ledgers, for it to take 4 to 5 days for a transaction to be completed.
Oh no, I didn't mean that once the transaction gets completed. I mean to signing up to a website.
Right.
You have to take sometimes 4 to 5 days to get verified.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay. Nitz, quick question I had for you.
Okay.
So obviously you're an active member of the cryptocurrency community. So can you explain to us what an e-wallet is and the various different keys that come with the e-wallets?
Okay, so a wallet is okay, so let me go back to Coinbase again. That way I can explain my answer to you, yeah?
Sure.
So say if I, for example, say I put £500 into Coinbase, right? Now I need to buy on that Coinbase website. You can either buy Bitcoin, Litecoin, and Ethereum. Yeah. So then you decide what you want to buy. Say you want to buy Bitcoin so you want to buy Bitcoin. So that £500 converts into Bitcoin. Right?
Yep.
So for that £500 to convert into Bitcoin, it has to go through that transaction. It has to go through a ledger.
Right.
That's what you're talking about, so right?
Right.
And then when it goes through verified, I think it takes about 22 steps to get verified. That's when you know your payments processed.
Right.
There you go. You got a bit of Bitcoin now.
So
now you're officially in the crypto world.
Right. So it has to go through 22 various different ledgers for it to be authenticated, because obviously there is no centralized bank that says this is the Bank of England, we're issuing pound notes. So it's got to go through various different systems to verify that this transaction has taken place and obviously authenticates the transaction. Am I on the right path here?
Exactly. It takes about 22, minimum 22, could be maximum 50. Right. So this is where you get all these computers all around the world verifying your transaction, and that depends how quick it is.
Right.
But Nitin, there are some cryptocurrencies that are able to, in terms of performance, are better to use than say others. Am I correct? So say for example, Ethereum and Ripple, your transaction can be processed much quicker than say a Bitcoin, because of the number of I don't want to get too technical, but because of the number of transactions you can have in one block.
Yeah, so the reason why Bitcoin gets a bad press is because firstly it's kind of, I would say, it's so overhyped, and the transaction, it takes like 2-3 minutes. So in the internet world, speed is a key, right? So Ethereum, you can get Ethereum and you can get your transaction done within half a minute, right? By 30 seconds, 40 seconds. And Bitcoin, sometimes it can take ages. Then you get Ripple and Litecoin, and the more of these coins are getting faster and faster.
Now, the reason why they're getting faster and faster is because of the processing. And so basically with these cryptocurrencies that are coming out, in terms of verification, the underlying infrastructure, where it comes to where you introduce mining before, where these computer processing power, goes through and crunches all the various calculations in order to then process and verify and authorize that transaction through the system. And so what it is the underlying infrastructure is getting quicker. And so the price fluctuation on these particular new cryptocurrencies coming out are really, going highs and lows. One example, I think, was Ripple, right? So Ripple was founded by a guy who was like 17, wasn't he? Like he was 17, and he became a billionaire within about, I think, a year. So really, you're going to get new entrepreneurs and these guys who are going to come out, and really their cryptocurrencies are going to become much faster and faster. So my question to you, Nitz, is are you really picking cryptocurrencies that are low in trade at the moment?
So yes, that's a good question. You have to, I think you have to decide for yourself. But what I've done is, like, I've scattered my investment. So I have bought I bought Ethereum, I bought Litecoin, I bought NAM, I bought Ripple, and I bought these at different various stages.
So you're kind of spread betting a little bit on you to see which one's going to perform the best.
Exactly.
Right.
So I've done that, but the thing is, there's so many other ways you can do it. It's like shares, right? It's just it's exactly like buying and selling shares. It isn't no different. No matter what anyone tells you, it's like putting your money in the stock market as well. So you have to think about strategy and what you're going to do.
Right. Nitz, quick question. So for a lot of people that are aware, there are various different vendors out there that will take on the transaction. Is it fair to say that these different companies such as Ripple, Ethereum and Bitcoin, I mean, the principle remains the same, but the difference is the technology that they use in order to make those transactions become viable?
Say that question again, but make it more simpler.
Sure. The Bitcoin vendors that KP has mentioned, yes. Ethereum and Bitcoin itself, and I mean, there's what, maybe a dozen plus vendors out there that will process transactions, for example, peer-to-peer transactions. What is the difference and the similarities? Is the differences just based on the technologies that they use in order to make that service available to the public?
To my knowledge, no. I can't. To be honest, I can't ask you that. I can't answer that question because I haven't even researched into that. So that is, to me, that's an advanced question. So I can't really give you an answer.
I can answer that. So basically, you've got all these various vendors, right? So Bitcoin at the moment can only have, I think, 14 transactions per block, right, per second. Now what came out was Ethereum. Now Ethereum, when it came out, it had a different infrastructure. What I meant is, again, what I've explained is how it does its processing, and actually the number crunching that it has to go through in order to then verify this particular transaction is that person who's actually the person who issued that particular transaction, and then it has to go through authorization, which means data mining, and then you've got these various people using their mining as storage and their computer processing to do these number crunching. So Ethereum came out, and they found that Ethereum was able to add a much larger amount of transactions per block per second. And then Ripple came out, and Ripple was able to add, I think, an extra 5 to 10% per number of transactions per second. So when I mean all these various per second, is really basically when it goes through the system, how long it will take from the time you issue a transaction, from the time you actually finish that transactions, it could be hours, right? So Bitcoin, like Nitin has said, right, can take a few hours, right, Nits, am I correct? And then Ethereum can take a bit much can take less, and Ripple can even be lesser.
Yeah, that's correct in a sense. It all depends on machines and speed, internet connectivity. There's so many variables.
Yeah, and also I've known with data miners who are able to they're able to prioritize depending on, because what you can do is you can pay a bit extra, right? And then if you pay a bit extra, you can then be on the top of the chain, right? And that transaction can then be pushed through the system much quicker. But again, you're paying an extra service per transaction in order for that to happen. So imagine that happening on a global scale, because at the moment cryptocurrency is a new thing, right? And you're going to have it's just in its infancy, right, period. So when it does go global, there's going to be, I don't think cryptocurrency will be able to handle those particular transactions per second, of lucky if you're using a credit card, right? With credit card, you've got a digital currency where it is able to do multiple transactions in milliseconds, right? But the infrastructure that works with Bitcoin is much different. So that's what I'm trying to compare it with, in terms of these particular cryptocurrencies. But I do believe when in the future that they will able to make it uniform. So so Nitz, you were going to give us a demonstration on what particular sites you go on in order to trade. And so are you able to give us a quick demonstration on what you do in terms of registering with these? Well, you've showed us what particular site you can register with, but actually what other sites are good out there to play around with as a beginner?
So there's a difference between the thing. So when you have to buy your currency, whatever currency you want, you have to buy in fiat currency, right? So pounds and dollars. So Coinbase is one, and there's one or two others, but mainly everyone uses Coinbase just because it's more easier.
Sure.
Right. So what they've been doing now is you can't purchase cryptocurrency from credit cards because so many people have been doing it, and then because of negative news, like I was explaining earlier, with the hacking and the security flaws, companies have actually, credit card companies like Visa have actually stopped people from actually purchasing cryptocurrencies through their credit card.
Right.
Well, now you have to do it through a debit card.
Sure.
You have to do it through a debit card, and this was happening in large volumes where even I was paying to get my Litecoin or Bitcoin, whatever, with a credit card, and then suddenly it just stopped, and I couldn't do it anymore. So then I did it through a debit card.
Right.
And I went through Coinbase. I bought Ethereum.
Right. So okay. So you started. Why did you start off with Ethereum, if you don't mind me asking? Is that because that was a coin that was but low in a low price at the time when you invested? Was that, would you say, a low to get into cryptocurrency? Was that a low price that you were paying for for your investment that you made?
No. So if I can explain further, then
yeah.
So then you get exchanges. Now you get the main exchanges are Bittrex. So if I can just show you. So these are the popular exchange currencies, right? Bittrex. So this is one. Can you see my screen?
Yeah.
Okay, so this is one. This is two. So these are the two exchanges in China
Okay, so they're
right?
okay.
These are the two main ones that most people use.
Right.
So that's when you can exchange your, 1 second.
So
Okay, have I stopped sharing my screen?
yeah.
Okay, so those are the two that you can use to exchange currency. So say if I bought Bitcoin from Coinbase, right?
Yeah.
So I'll buy Bitcoin from Coinbase and put it into the exchange.
Right.
Right? So once I put it into the exchange, then I can sell my Bitcoin and buy Litecoin or buy Ripple.
Right.
Right?
So you're changing one particular type of cryptocurrency, and you want to then probably sell your Bitcoin and then sell your Bitcoin.
Yeah.
And then with that money that that then you've sold your Bitcoin, you then buy a Litecoin. Is that what you mean?
Exactly.
Okay.
Exactly. So it's just about then buying and selling. You can't do it in a way where you buy fiat currency like sterling in Coinbase and then buy Bitcoin in Bittrex. You have to buy a cryptocurrency first and then convert it to another, right?
Yeah.
So a lot of these exchanges use popular coins like Bitcoin, Ethereum. Not a lot of exchanges use Litecoin, right? So you can only trade Bitcoin to Bitcoin. You can't trade Bitcoin to Ethereum on another exchange.
Oh, right. Okay.
Yeah. So that exchange has to have the same currency as Coinbase.
Right.
Do you understand that?
Yeah. Yeah.
You understand that, Sol?
Absolutely. My question was, a lot of people got into cryptocurrency because they liked the fact that it was a peer-to-peer based technology with no outside influence. But I wonder how true that is. So we hear that the inventor of Bitcoin, a Japanese fellow who no one's ever heard of, which in my opinion, I suspect is not really the case. If I had to take a punt, I would really say that this type of cryptocurrency was actually created by an AI type of technology or an AI consciousness, as ludicrous as it sounds. But I mean, how safe is it for people to be trading in a sense using cryptography without the outside influence of, for example, a centralized government?
Okay, firstly, like I had a colleague at work and he showed me a video, I think it was in 1992, 93, where actually a person actually predicted that there is going to be a time like 5-10 years in the future where people will be using digital currency. And this was just when the internet wasn't even born. So that was a big prediction to make, and it's actually happening right now.
Sure.
It was made, I think it's some sort of scientist, especially this happened after the credit crunch. After the credit crunch, someone came up with the idea of not relying on the central government to control your finances and give the people power to decide how to be financially free without the market crashing.
Right.
So I think that's, in my idea, I think that's how cryptocurrency started.
Right. So, I mean, this Japanese guy who supposedly started sort of this whole kind of Bitcoin, BitShare type of technology, it seems that there's not really much information on this guy. We don't really know too much about him. I don't know if it's a guy or a girl. Is this a pseudonym that this person is using? I'm just curious to know how much involvement has AI technology been involved in this type of cryptography?
No, I think no one actually knows. I think you can research all day and you'll come up with so many different answers or so many other people's different opinions. I think at the end of the day, you shouldn't really concentrate on that. You should just concentrate on if you want to do this or not, and if you want to actually make a living out of it, right?
Sure.
So, say for example's sake, you wanted to trade in Ethereum. This is what I will do personally. I'll find out everything I can know about Ethereum. So go to like seminars or expos and find out what Ethereum is. Find out exactly what it's doing. A lot of people are putting a punt on Ethereum just because they hear that, oh, some guy made £500,000 last year, 600. So they put like crazy amount of money in thinking they're going to be millionaires overnight. I think you need to do your research, find out what Ethereum is, what companies are actually doing projects regarding cryptocurrency, and you have to actually really believe. It's a lot of belief and faith that the cryptocurrency is the future.
Right.
Because
there's always going to be that risk, isn't there? I mean, just as you mentioned earlier on, if you're trading in stocks and shares and you've got a portfolio, you're always going to be subject to market conditions and market risk. So actually, this is not going to be any different. So I guess the message is that invest what you can afford to lose.
Yes, as I said before earlier in this webinar, I think start small, and start with literally like a few pounds, like 10, 15, 20 pounds. Find out how do you exchange money really fast, because with trading, it is all about speed.
So I wanted to ask you, Nitin, that so of course, in pre-2013, the price of say, if we start with Bitcoin, right, the master, that was $0.5, right?
Yes.
Pre-12. And then after 2013, it started rising, right? Went up to $100, and then in 2014, it went up to $500. And then there was a massive spike in 2014 or 15, right? Where it just peaked to about 17,000, right? And then, can you believe a Bitcoin at, say, sometime last year was $17,000 per Bitcoin? How crazy is that? What swing? And then in February, I think this year, it dropped. No, so this last year in Christmas time, it dropped to about 9,000, right? And then it dropped even further February this year, right, to $6,000. And now it's rising back up to 10. So thinking of all of these really big swings, Nitin, like, didn't you think like it's crazy in terms of I'm investing my money in this market, right? And the swings are so crazy, like, they're going up and down like in months, right? With people investing, right? Why didn't you think like, am I really gonna make my returns from this crazy swings of this market?
So you have to think long term, and I think a lot of people who actually put a lot of money in when it was really high were literally crazy. I know I've heard people who actually put in like 20, 30 grand when it was right at the top, and when Bitcoin literally cut in half from 20 grand to 10 grand, 10,000, they literally lost half the investment overnight. And that's just a crazy thing to do. I don't understand why would you put your money in when you don't even know what you're exactly doing. And this comes from people jumping on the bandwagon, and it's now, for a matter of people who have done that, it's a matter of a waiting game. So I advise people not to sell and just wait, because a lot of people actually sold and they lost out because they literally got so scared of losing the whole investment. They literally took the losses and that's it. But in my position, if I was in that situation, I'll just hold my money and hold it for 5 years. To be honest, in hindsight, you don't know what's going to happen in the future. So I would say, if you invested money when it was right at the top, I'll say just hold for a few years. But no one can predict the future, so you don't exactly know what's going to happen. But you rather hold and leave it rather than take it out and just lose your money.
Of course.
Nitin, I don't know if you was aware, but Mark Kearney, the chairman of the Bank of England, he said publicly actually last week that although cryptocurrency was an interesting concept, he believed, as the chairman of the Bank of England, that he did not foresee cryptocurrency replacing traditional forms of buying and selling. What would be your response to that?
Do you know what? We're so far behind. This cryptocurrency really is in its infancy. So I think there is going to be a future for cryptocurrency. That's for definite. But no one knows how it's going to be stabilized, because, as I said before, it's like the Wild West. There's so much negative press about it, especially with exchanges getting hacked. There's no one takes responsibility for this cryptocurrency, so your money could literally get hacked and it could be lost in the internet world. And that's what the governments are literally kind of afraid of. They're afraid of that, but they're also afraid that people are going to start trading in cryptocurrency, and they're going to forget about the dollar or the pound or the yen. And everyone knows it's the dollar that makes the world go around. And if people start trading in Bitcoins and Litecoins, what's the government going to do?
Right. It's really interesting, Nitin, how you mentioned about investing long term, right? And Solomon really asking about, with Peter Carney. Now, I think Peter Carney is seeing potential, because all he wants to do is really regulate the system, right? Exactly. He wants to make money from these investors at the moment, because it's not regulated. No. And in tax, right? Every transaction you fucking make, they fucking want to tax you, right? So they want to take your money, Nits. So Peter Carney coming on and, saying, yeah, cryptocurrency, he's really looking at balancing, the treasury, right? So he really wants the treasury to have extra funds, right? Extra money that comes in for them. And they want to regulate the system because they see potential that they can make a lot of money from it. So that is why Peter Carney is now coming out. And there's a lot of banks, there's a lot of central banking authorities, such as China, who really want to regulate this system. So they stopped allowing new investors to actually buy new cryptocurrencies, right? And that's really frustrates me, because once again, the government has come on board and they want to regulate a system, right, that is working absolutely fine. Okay, we've got problems with security in terms of hacking and so forth. But what really frustrates me is, again, they want to come on board and really, it's a decentralized system as it is, but they want to come in and they want to regulate it, right? So my question to you is, Nitin, because you've invested in this, do you see the worries of government coming in and taking half of your fucking profits?
Yes, but you have to make a lot of money to get taxed, and they're not going to tax small timers. You're talking about people who make 100,000 or anything over.
I doubt it, Nitin. They're going to tax you for a certain amount of investment that you make, right? When you're buying and selling, at the moment when you're buying stocks and shares, you have to pay £12.50 per transaction, right? Even before you've started. So what is going to be for them to charge you probably say $5 at the start, and then it goes up to $7, $10 later on. But what my really question is, once you see this regulation coming in, and you're actually seeing governments coming on board and then trying to regulate this particular system, because they think Bitcoin is, because it is at the moment, it is linked to the stock market, right? Because there are trading houses now in investment banks across the world who are opening up units for cryptocurrency trading, right? And these traders are just doing some crazy trading at the moment, right? So my question to you is, because you're an investor, do you think your money, in terms of what you make as profits, do you think you would come out and sell your profits when you can, before the system gets regulated?
To be honest, I haven't even gone that far where you're in a situation where you make enough money that you start thinking about tax. I mean, no one knows about what's going to be regulated, how is it going to be regulated. I think it does need to be regulated in some way because there's a lot of, especially with Bitcoin, a lot of criminal activity going in the underworld regarding Bitcoin.
Sure.
So like money laundering, and there's no way, once you do a transaction, there's no way to chase where the money is coming from.
That's right. That's right. Because we saw that with the website Silk Road.
Yeah, exactly.
A massive criminal underworld were using that particular website for buying and selling drugs and getting some very nasty stuff done, but they were trading in Bitcoin. But again, with Bitcoin, you can store your information. You can store your Bitcoins, for example, on your USB data stick. So what's stopping me from taking my money, going across a border, and again being involved in some criminal activities if you can store all that information on your USB stick?
So exactly, that's how easy it is. It's so easy to be a criminal and do a lot of like scams, a lot of criminal activities and getting away with it. That's what the government are also afraid of, is like people, there'll be no way you could chase criminals because they won't be using dollars, they won't be using pounds, they'll be all using these different cryptocurrencies and literally like could be even getting away with murder. So
literally
yeah, exactly. So it's all out there as well.
Agreed. I want to agree with you on what you said because I think you made a very key point, and I think many investors out there who will be listening to this now or in the future will agree that when you are trading or investing, I mean, unless you're shorting, you're really going to be trading on the long term. If you read Warren Buffett's book on trading, he's always talking about trading for the long term. So I wanted to pick that up as a key point because I think people have to realize this is not like a get-rich-quick type of scheme. That obviously Bitcoin and utilizing the facilities that these cryptocurrency vendors have to offer, it's in its infancy. So of course, if you are looking to invest into such a digital commodity such as cryptocurrency, you know, it's all about looking at the long term. And yes, I do agree with you that digital currency is the future. But for me, this is where I have an issue, because at least with your cash, not credit cards, but with physical cash, there's a certain amount of anonymity in the sense of you can go places, you can, you know, there's not necessarily a paper trail per se. Unlike if you use your credit cards or your debit cards to make transactions, at least if you've got cash, there's not so you have that autonomy, you have that sense of privacy. My fear is that obviously with credit cards, there's a paper trail, and I know what people will say. You know, if you're not doing anything wrong, then why should you care? But that's not really my angle. My angle is it's all about people have a right to privacy, and that's what having physical cash allows you to do, is to have that privacy. I just fear with the digital currencies that are now certainly moving forward, that if any time the system is hacked, for example, if any time the powers that be, they want to lock you out of the system, and we do away with, for example, a digital type of currency, then I can foresee big problems. Or for example, let's look at Russia. Russia is a dictatorship in a sense. You can't speak out against the government. Now, God forbid that if it ever happened in this country. But my concern is if there was that type of unpopularity or sentiment towards the government that they didn't like, how easy would it be for them to lock you out the system? Does that make sense?
Yes. It's that's why it's so difficult. Is, you know what, this cryptocurrencies is going to take so many years to get regulated because it is so difficult to put everything in order.
Do you know, it's like what Solomon was saying about, you know, when the governments are able to, they can freeze your assets, right?
Correct.
I think that's what Solomon's saying is about, you know, they having control, you know, of all these various transactions going through the system, right? and they can actually then have a trail and then freeze your assets. So say, for example, I was telling Nitin the other day, right, that you know, there are cases where, you know, when people are going through divorces, the men are actually putting their money in Bitcoin, because when you have to declare your assets at the start, that wasn't declared as an asset. But now juries and courts are actually asking people with their assets if they have any Bitcoin, you know. But truly, are they able to find out if they do have any Bitcoin? And if they do, how would they check, right?
Good question.
It's not really regulated. That it's not, like you say, it's not regulated. So how could you can just really lie on paper, right?
But Ket, surely by it not being regulated gives the investors the advantage. I mean, despite what type of agenda or motive that they have, by it not being regulated actually gives more power to the people. Whereas when you start to bring in regulation, then the government automatically, if they are not already involved, which I suspect that they are, because I don't believe for 1 second that this network is not influenced by the government. Like, I don't believe that for a second. Despite what people say, I'm pretty sure that the government or people that work alongside the government, the military, etc., have a certain amount of influence in the infrastructure of cryptocurrency. But I think my point is, surely if there's more regulation with cryptocurrency, that takes power away from the investor?
Absolutely. And that's what I was saying earlier about, you know, Peter Carney and why he wants to, you know, he made an announcement or a statement really about cryptocurrency. And so, yeah, it's like I say, it's an important issue. And again, like when these cryptocurrencies start coming much more regularly and people are more investors decide to put their money into that, you know, system rather than in the trading side, you know, because when you're trading, you're spending, you know, you have to pay per transaction, but in cryptocurrency you have to pay much less in terms of
but KP, what I'm trying to say is that I don't think we can have it both ways. We can't have one leg in and one leg out. So it's saying that at the moment it's like the Wild West, which obviously would be because it's still within its infancy. I think, when did Bitcoin get launched? Like 2009, 2010, thereabouts. So clearly, as a digital currency, it's still within its infancy. But to have one leg in and one leg out, it's a bit of, it doesn't really make sense. So I think while there needs to be some type of regulation, by having that regulation brings the powers that be to then start to enforce the regulation and then start to build upon the regulation that there is. So I'm not sure where the freedom of using this cryptocurrency would be for the investor that's looking just to safeguard or shore up their financial financial wealth, if that makes any sense. Do you know what I mean? Nitin, with regards to Brexit, do you foresee that if we do leave, because I mean, allegedly we're supposed to be leaving the EU, if we do leave, what type of impact will that have on cryptocurrency, do you think? Have you thought about that? Have you had any type of discussion with regards to Brexit and cryptocurrency?
I think prices will go up, like Bitcoin will go up, because I think maybe the pound will go down for a little while, but it'll just be so volatile. So it's actually very volatile right now, and I think it will actually make it worse. So I think at the moment what people are doing, especially with cryptocurrencies, is a thing called pumping and dumping, where they're actually putting a lot of money in when it's high, and then putting a lot of money in when it's low, and then quickly within a day or so it just spikes, and then they take the money out and then make that profit, right?
So they're going to be doing these really like you know, like algo trading, you know, looking at small little differences in the prices, and then they trade like, you know, thousands at a time, you know. Like you say, Nitin, is crazy, because you're going to have all these traders then adopting, you know, their strategies that they use in the traditional trading, you know, like algo trading, and then they're going to implement it in Bitcoin, well, cryptocurrencies, and you'll see like fluctuations, like it will go crazy, you know. And the more investors that you have that come on board, that means because there's only a certain amount of Bitcoins available that are able to buy, right?
Yes, exactly. So that I was coming to you right now with that. So I'm gonna basically show you my screen. I'm gonna show you a graph for Ethereum. So let me share my screen with you. So can you see the chart?
Yeah.
Hello? Can you see the chart?
Yeah, I can see.
Yes, yes.
Okay, so if you look at these spikes, let's go back to 3 months, yeah? So let me show you, let me show you another one. Let me show you Bitcoin, because Bitcoin's a better example.
Wow, is that how much it is? 16.
So if we see the supply, this is the supply, yeah?
Right.
So it's a capped supply. So what people do is start putting, the more money you put in, the more the supply goes down, right? When that supply goes down, the price goes up,
Right.
because it's supply and demand, right?
Yeah.
So what they do is like they'll pump it up,
Yeah.
and then they'll sell it, and then they sell it, and they'll go all the way down again, and then they'll buy it back. So that's how they'll be making the profit.
Right.
So that's the thing that's happening right now. Not a lot of people are letting it just stay there. They're like every day they're pumping money in, put money out, and it's just for the people who are in it for the long term. It's such a pain in the ass, because it's just not going over. It's just going up and down, and there isn't really an upward trend.
Right, makes sense. Yeah.
Right, it's just up. It's just going up and down, and this wasn't like this last year. Last year, hold on one second. Let me share my screen. Okay, last year, because people didn't know about cryptocurrency because of the media, and it was only like I'll say a few people that actually knew about Ethereum, Litecoin. So they let it. So no one was buying or selling. So it gradually had an upward trend, and suddenly in December it went through the roof, and it went through some crazy numbers, and then everyone started jumping on the bandwagon. People start trading, and they didn't know exactly what was going on. They were just in it for the money. So for the long-term investors, it's just messed things up for people, because now you've got all these investors who are just pumping money in and buying and selling. And for the long-term traders, they're just, I don't think people who are doing it for the long term, they're just not happy what's going on right now.
No, that's
so basically you're talking about day trading, in a sense, where you see a stock, or you invest for a day, and then, you know, depending on what the markets are doing, you might release your liquidity from the market, and then so you're day trading. So my question is this, Nitz, buying and selling, how many outlets are there? I mean, could I go and buy the latest Jaguar using Bitcoin, for example?
No. There's a cryptocurrencies that are actually getting in cards. So for example, Litecoin are in a stage where they're getting their own prepaid card, where you actually can put Litecoins in your card, and then you can go to shops and buy.
Wow.
You can buy items, so that converts into fiat currency.
Right.
But
didn't you tell me, Nitz, that someone offered 4,000 Bitcoins to buy a house, an apartment in central London or something?
Yes.
4,000 Bitcoin or something like that, crazy like that.
So someone actually sold the house for, I think it was 4,000 Bitcoins. But this is like rarity. Not everyone's like buying. Not everyone's like selling their stuff for Bitcoins, right? It's rare, right?
Right.
But it's amazing that, I think, you know, someone bought a pizza for 10 Bitcoins 3-4 years ago.
Right. Okay.
Like 4 or 5 years ago. Do you remember that story?
No, I didn't.
Literally, they must feel like idiots now, because they actually bought a pizza. If they holding that Bitcoin, they could have bought a house.
Yeah. Yeah. So, but I mean, obviously, if this is going to be the economy for the future, which I suspect it will be, then of course more outlets, more retailers, for example, they need to jump on board in terms of currency transactions. But you're saying at the moment, in terms of so there's only a couple of vendors out there, like BitLight or like was it Lightshare, that you can actually use their facilities to buy and sell, for example, groceries. So it sounds like we're really waiting for the market to catch up and obviously to accept Bitcoin as the currency of the future, whereby you can go into Starbucks, or can you go into your local Starbucks? I mean, because I'm not sure if I may have heard a story where people are buying coffees. I'm sure they are. I'm sure there's certain outlets, be it Starbucks or Coffee Republic, where you can actually buy a cup of coffee using Bitcoins. I don't know how that works, but I mean,
that's
you can see that.
You can, because it comes with a wallet, right? So all of your transactions that happen are then recorded in this wallet, right? So you can actually now use your phone, right? So you can, so I think it's NFC, so, near field community. So you can actually just press your phone on a pad, right? And then that will then register as the Bitcoin, because what you'll have in your wallet is your unique identifying number, right? Which then verifies that's you. And then you just plonk your phone onto the pad, and it will then, take the transaction away from your account, and then whatever happens in the background in terms of paying for that is then gone through the system. Really, I'm right? Is that right? Yeah, Nitin, that's correct.
So you're right in a sense, but it's not. I don't think it's as simple as that. So then you have to get different applications. So there's an application I use. It's called Revolt.
Revolt.
Yeah. So what that does. So when you get Coinbase, right? You go to the Coinbase website, and then you go to a website called Revolt. So that's like, I would say, that's another site where you can transfer your money. So that's like acting like your bank. So this website called Revolt is acting like your bank. Right. So you can transfer your currency, your cryptocurrency, into this application called Revolt, and then you can go to the shops and use that. So that basically, this application called Revolt transfers your Bitcoin into fiat currency, transfers your Litecoin into fiat currency.
Oh, right.
And then you can use this app, and you can go to a shop and then do it that way.
So
you can't literally just buy Bitcoin. You have to turn it nowadays. Right now, you have to turn that Bitcoin into sterling.
Right.
Yeah.
But the third-party application you just mentioned, Revolt, it sounds like it's very similar to PayPal. It's connected to your bank card, your credit card, whatever.
Exactly.
And then you can. Right. Okay. That makes sense. Nitin, my other question is this: so obviously you're heavily invested and you're on the crypto train. What other type of investments would you advise people to look into outside of cryptocurrency? Because I don't believe for a second that it's cryptocurrency that you're just involved with. A man like you, for me, is obviously invested in maybe other bits and pieces out there, maybe gold, silver, precious metals. What sort of markets would you also advise young investors out there that are looking to invest for their own future to perhaps have a look at outside of cryptocurrency?
I think at the moment, to be honest, I think cryptocurrency is the future. So if I can go into a subject, like a branch of cryptocurrency. So does anyone know what ICO is?
No.
Do you have an idea? Okay, so an ICO is called initial coin offering. It's before a cryptocurrency goes into exchange, right? So this is the best way I think someone young can invest in the future.
Okay,
right?
So it's very similar to like a DPO, which is a direct public offering, or an IPO, which is an initial public offering. So this is the terminology if you want to buy cryptocurrency on the market, presumably.
Okay,
ICO.
so I'm going to give you an example now.
Yeah.
I'm going to show you my screen, and I'm going to give you an example of a currency which I think is really good. So, okay, so this is, can you see my screen, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, so this is a currency that was in ICO, I think a few months back, right? And this company, what they do,
Yeah.
is put have you heard of RFID chips?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, they put them in the
And I'm very scared.
they put them in garments to make sure that garment is not counterfeited goods.
Yeah. Yeah.
Correct.
So this person came out with the idea that you know, there's so many counterfeited goods out there, and they had an idea of how to stop it.
Yeah.
But they had this idea. So say if you put a chip in some clothes and some like Gucci and Ralph Lauren to make them authentic, and there's proof that if they just scan this chip, you can make it authentic.
Right.
So he started a company, and the way he got it invested is got his investors to invest in this company with cryptocurrency.
Okay.
So that's how he started his company out. Right. So that's,
Right.
I think this is a great way of getting investors in, where instead of them buying shares, they could be part of this company, investing in it by using cryptocurrency, and then they get a share. They get that coin, and once this company grows, so there's a cryptocurrency.
That's a good idea. I think that's a great idea.
It is. It's very intelligent. Very intelligent. Yeah.
I might even invest in that. Even I might have a look into Wabi. Okay, cool.
So that's, and if you look at this, look, it's only $1. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
If you invested, say, $1,000, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
If that dollar just jumped to $2, you double your money.
Yeah.
Right.
Of course.
So that's what I think. I think instead of sometimes investing in things like
gold and silver, the traditional safe havens, presumably, oil and gas.
No, what I was going to say, if you instead of investing in Ethereum, Bitcoin, Cash, Litecoin, you're paying like 191 for a coin, paying 732 for a coin.
Right.
Why don't you if you do something smaller, you got more chance of that coin always doubling up, and then you make a better investment. Then you make more money, right?
Right.
So there's another one which my friend recommended to me. This one? No, that's it. But this is the energy company.
Okay.
Right. So I don't want to get into the gist of it because I haven't really looked into it that much, but it's in its infancy as well. Right. So it deals with the energy market. Yeah. Can you hear me?
Yeah, we're here.
Yeah, so it deals with the energy market, and any market got to do with energy, you know, it's something good, right? Like they deal with gas, petrol, all kinds of energy.
Right.
And they're in their new company, and they're basically using cryptocurrency in form of investment as well. All right, so if you look
I agree with you, Nitz. I agree with you that you know, again, the traditional type of safe havens, your sustainable hydrocarbon companies, oil and gas, you know, mining companies are going to be your safe havens. But obviously, if you can find these small cap energy companies as the one you've just shown, then you can, obviously, for the young investors, for people that are looking to get into trading, then obviously you want to get in at the ground level. You want to do your due diligence, make sure that the company directors are doing as they say, you know, and obviously the financials are all in place. But yeah, I mean, if you could have invested in gold, it would have been back in the 70s. You'd have made a decent return. If you were to invest in gold now, I mean, people are doing that, but it hasn't got the same buoyancy. So again, you've just given a great demonstration of a small cap energy company, presumably because I haven't done my research, that are looking to do big and great things. So no, we appreciate that. Absolutely. Absolutely.
So yeah, basically start small, look into a company, like even Warren Buffett will tell you, look into a company that hasn't grown. Look into a company where it's at the bottom, has assets, has potential, has the right people working behind it, and then invest in it in the long term. Right?
Agreed. So 20 years from now, if we could move our minds 20 years from now, where do you see the economy, and where do you see cryptocurrency within that economy in this country?
It all depends on regulation.
Nitin, before you answer, you can stop sharing your screen.
Oh, sorry. Got it? Is that okay?
Yeah, that's great.
Yeah.
Perfect. Yeah, so go ahead. Sorry.
Okay, so it depends on regulation, it depends on governments. There's so much uncertainty about cryptocurrency at the moment. It's more about belief than anything else at the moment.
Right. But in your own mind,
yeah.
20 years from now, if you were to hypothesize, where would you see the traditional economy, i.e. fiat currency, if there is one, and then perhaps cryptocurrency? Because what I'm trying to say is that the way that technology is moving so quickly right now, I mean, it's moving at such an unbelievable speed. For example, if you look at your smartphone right now, there's so much stuff that you can do with it. I mean, you've got Google and Tap. You can talk to anyone in the world. You can pretty much be anywhere in the world through your smart devices. So if we were to hypothesize and say 20 years from now, where would you see the traditional economy? Do you believe that there would be one, or do you think we would have potentially fully converted over to cryptocurrency?
I think we won't fully convert to cryptocurrency. I think the stock market, pound sterling, that will always be there, but there will also be this digital currency. We're living in an internet world now, so I honestly believe the future is in your hands, and there isn't this thing of being a 9 to 5 going to work. You actually can make a living through the internet, and you don't need someone to pay you.
Right.
And this is what I think the future is, where you have total control over your own life, and you don't have to worry about someone on top. And I think it doesn't matter about cryptocurrency. It could be anything. It could be entrepreneurship. You could be buying and selling cars, toys, whatever. It's all down to the individual now.
But you're saying that you think in the future, potentially the traditional model of trading time for money, doing a 9 to 5, is going to be reduced, also based on technology as well, based on sort of the shift in the application and the types of labor taken out is going to shift dramatically because of technology such as AI, and obviously because we are living in the internet era.
Yes, that's exactly what I think. Yeah, you took the words right out of my mouth. That's exactly what's going to happen. I think everyone needs to know. In fact, everyone's read Rich Dad Poor Dad, right, by Robert Kiyosaki, right?
Yes, Rich Dad Poor Dad.
Yeah, and he explains this perfectly. He explains that the future is in entrepreneurship, where you have to understand. Do you remember the quadrant? When he writes about the quadrant?
Yes, there was 4 quadrants, wasn't there?
Yeah.
The first, there was trading time for money. There was something to do with stocks and shares. But he was saying that if you're going to trade, you need to really find an expert. They're going to charge you money. Then I think there was the multi-level marketing type of way of generating an income, and there was a 4th one which I can't remember.
Exactly. So this quadrant, he had 4 quarters. So it was self-employed, it was business, it was investing, right?
Yeah.
So he says, when you trade your time for money, that's just the wrong way of going about it, because the more you're gonna work for someone, the poorer you're just gonna get. So the future is where you actually find ways to create create your own wealth.
It's really funny that you talk about Robert Kiyosaki, because he was bankrupt like twice, right? And so, you know, I'm sure he followed his model, but he was still bankrupt. So, you know, really, what happened there? But I know where you're coming from in terms of, you know, working. You know, you're working for someone else. You know, you're paying taxes, right? You're paying much more taxes than if you were working. You know, if you have your own business. And like you say, the internet is how you've got fruitful opportunities to try and you know, make a living for yourself. And cryptocurrencies, of course, is one way of you know, investing. And like you say, you showed us a fantastic other way how a company is now, in order to attract their investors, you know, they are you know, they are you know, promoting Bitcoin these currencies, right, in order to get them on board. So that's another way of bringing investors in than your traditional methods.
Nitin, you mentioned you were your mentor. You're working with a mentor. When you first got together with him, did he give you a list of books that he felt that you should start reading? What type of books are you reading? Is what I'm asking.
No, to be honest, I prefer just diving in. So when he told me about what he was doing, I just signed up to all these websites, Coinbase, Spectral, Binance, Bittrex. I started off small, so I bought a few Litecoins, a few Ethereums. I just dived into it. I didn't. You get a lot of people just keep on reading, and never do nothing about it.
Sure.
I think you just gotta just dive in,
Sure.
because how much are you gonna like read, and you get a lot of people that just talk, but never actually do anything about it, right? So I think my advice is start small and just jump in.
Take action.
Look at all these, get a mentor, look at YouTube videos, look at people who already been doing it, and then just copy them.
So would you say
Right.
when you're first starting off, not to invest in hundreds, it will be more in thousands, right? In order
No,
to get a good
invest in hundreds.
invest in hundreds.
Yeah.
All right. So because you're, from my understanding, in order for you to get a good return, you're better off putting a few thousands into you know, into the, you know, whatever cryptocurrency you're buying. Because when you're investing in hundreds, the return that you will get, I don't think, unless if you go for the ones you know, where they're $1 a coin at the moment, right?
Yeah, but where are you going to find that, KP? Where are you going to find $1? What, Bitcoin?
No,
where is that?
The you know, the one he showed, you know, the
oh right, okay. In terms, right, the investment, right, yeah. Like the energy company, for example. That looked like a penny share company. Is that right? Is that sort of a Reg S red sheet stock?
Yeah. So
the energy.
that's probably, when I showed you that cryptocurrency chart, it's probably like in the top. It's probably like the top 100, but the bottom of the top 100.
Right.
And you have so many different coins after that, and they're called altcoins, for $1, $2, $3.
Right.
But don't worry about the price. Worry about their ideology, what the company is about, the people behind that company. Have those people in that company have done other successful projects?
True. Because
so find out credibility of that company before you actually start investing.
Absolutely, because I was just going to add on to that we've also mentioned that there's scrupulous investors or people who are, you know, saying that these ICOs that they're bringing out, but they're actually fake, aren't they?
Yes.
They're actually fake cryptocurrencies out there where people are investing and then they've lost thousands of dollars investing. So as Nitin has said, please do your research. Please look at the companies, go onto their website, really look at who they are, because at the moment, you know, you can only go on, you know, what the actual, so you can only go on what is on the internet, right? So, you have to actually do your research in this company before you invest. But of course, if you're investing in the top 10, they are well, they have been around for Bitcoin's been around for years, but you've got other cryptocurrencies who've been here for a few years, and they've been in the media where they're actually being discussed, right, in terms of these different cryptocurrencies. But when you're going for cryptocurrencies that Nitin has shown you that are ICOs, then I would please do your research before you do.
Yeah, due diligence is definitely important. As it's something that if you are serious about investing your hard-earned money, then you want to do your research. Nitin, recently Bitcoin went through a split, and I believe that they separated within themselves and it halved. I read something or I heard something that Bitcoin, as in the company, there's two companies now. Obviously, still got Bitcoin, but they separated, and half of the investors have also joined another company. So, have you heard anything about that?
So that's called forking. So Bitcoin split into two, which we call forking, and it turned into Bitcoin Cash. So I think this happened in August, right?
Right.
I don't know. To be honest, I don't know what the reason was what behind that was. I think maybe Bitcoin was becoming way too powerful. Maybe that's what it was.
Right.
So it decided to split.
I read it was due to performance, right? So the traditional Bitcoin, the way the infrastructure worked was that you had about 13 to 14 transactions on a block per second. So there was another version of Bitcoin where the underlying infrastructure was able to improve performance, but the traditional Bitcoin wanted to make sure that when it came to the mining and when it came to the performance, right, it stuck to the requirements from the traditional framework. But when this new Bitcoin came, there was a different infrastructure, and it was purely based on performance, on the amount of transactions per second you can do. So these two new infrastructures, they're still under the same Bitcoin, but there was a minor subtle differences in terms of processing with those Bitcoins. So that's why there was two. And then what they did is they couldn't decide which one they should go for in terms of the infrastructure. So they let the market decide. So they looked at the analytics and so forth, and then just let the market decide what is the best process, the traditional Bitcoin or this new Bitcoin in terms of performance.
Absolutely. Well, I think we've had an amazing piece of knowledge here today. What do you think, AP? It's been really good, isn't it?
I think it's been a wonderful insight into cryptocurrency, and again, I really want to thank Nitin. We can't see you your camera. So if you like to show our viewers, I hope he hasn't gone. He's got some technical difficulties, but yeah, he's given us a wonderful insight into cryptocurrencies. I've had a great time talking about it, and he's given us some experience on his. And I wanted to ask him if he's got anything else. He seems to be having some difficulties at the moment. So, do you want to add anything else until I wrap it up, Sol?
No, I want to thank Nitin.
Oh, there we go.
Nitin, we were just saying you've really expanded our knowledge via your own experience, and I think you've put together a wonderful presentation with your screen shares, and I know a lot of people will get a lot of value out of this, certainly that are looking to get involved or who are undecided with regards to Bitcoin. So I just want to thank you for your time, and I wanted to know if there's anything you wanted to share before we wrap up the session tonight.
Yeah, firstly, yeah, I apologize because my first Google Hangout, so I was a bit nervous at the start. I told can we start again because I think it's going to be a bit embarrassing. I did not want to look at myself on YouTube tonight. But yeah, if the viewers that you want to get into this cryptocurrency, my best advice is to start slowly and definitely get a mentor. Get someone that's already done it. Don't just dip in because you can easily lose money. It's so easy to lose money. So get a mentor, get someone that's done it already and follow exactly what they're doing. But don't go into the hype. Don't jump on the bandwagon. Research about what currency you want to do it, and then please don't sit on the fence. Just do it. Once you find out exactly what you want to do, create a strategy and just do it. And that's it. That's all I got to say.
Great. Well, thanks.
Take action.
Exactly.
Thanks a lot, Nitin, for again a wonderful insight. And please do comment below on our channel, YouTube channel, and please tell us whether you like the video or anything. Let us know. And if you got any stories that you want to tell us about today's podcast, please do tell. And of course, also please subscribe below. We would love for you to subscribe to us, and we've got great content coming up. We got more great guest speakers that we have in line. So I look forward to everyone. So take care and speak to you soon.
Indeed. Take care of yourself and each other. Take care, guys.
See you later. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.